welcome back to Punch Drunk ENT. You got your guy here with your Mr. Swag No Aggie.
I'm just Dan.
And we are back with another react with you guys, man.
Top 20 most disrespectful moments in sports history.
Disrespectful. Yeah. Shout out to Ron Artest. Yeah. Shout out to all the disrespectful. Dennis Rodman. Yeah. Shout out to who else is crazy with the disrespect? Warren Sapp. Julie, like, bruh. Y'all out here, man.
Yes.
That's what it's all about, man. I think, but before we start this, I just want to say, when you talk about disrespectful, we're not going to just talk about, we probably going to have certain plays, but it's the competition. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. You know, just show that competition, let them know, like, oh, I'm here. We out here.
I don't know. Some of them get a little too full of themselves. Like,
Well, we going to see.
you get the ones in team sports who think that they're the team. And the disrespect comes out of cockiness. Some people have it where they should be cocky, by all means.
Jordan.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, it's a team game. Team game. You ain't on the court by yourself. Sometimes it seems like it.
Listen, man.
I don't know.
And we get the chip.
That's right.
But before we start,
Make sure you guys thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. Show your boys some love. Let's get into it. I want to see some baseball plays. People getting hit with baseballs.
oh, definitely about to happen.
That's what I want to see.
Yeah, definitely about to happen.
Some injuries. Can we see some career-ending injuries?
If that's the case, what's the name should definitely be on this list?
Oh.
Pedro Martinez.
Oh.
Hopefully they got that clip. But we gonna see.
Pedro.
There's a flag.
Yep, I remember this.
Whoa,
I hate football fights, bro.
Welcome to
You're not hurting each other.
And today
Kicking
we're
them in the
counting
helmet.
down our picks for the top 20 unsportsmanlike moments in sports.
I was doing the same thing.
he
He over
Bro, they
exaggerated.
flop. You think NBA flopping is bad? God. Soccer. Football. Okay.
They fighting a ref?
I don't know what's going on.
He fighting a coach. Kick the nuts. Yep. We know he gonna be on here.
For this list, we're focusing
Oh,
on displays of bad behavior,
rugby?
unsportsmanlike conduct, and violence during or after sporting
if I
events
seen
that
this, I already know what's
simply
gonna be on
made
this
our
list.
jaws drop.
Yeah.
Which
That might be number
unsportsmanlike
one.
moment had
Yeah.
you shaking your head? Let us know
What
in
the hell was
comments.
that?
Number 20, Dale Hunter blindsides Pierre Turgeon.
Nice, great.
I remember Pierre Turgeon. He's nice. Oh,
Today, Dale Hunter has a fantastic reputation as a professional hockey coach in the Ontario Hockey League.
On October 31st, Hunter notched his 600th OHL win.
But back in 1993, he proved himself to be just another testosterone-fueled athlete in the Patrick Division semifinals of the NHL
you
playoffs.
son of a bitch.
Damn, bitch.
After the goal, both Turgeon and then Benoit
Yeah, he ate that.
from the rough stuff.
In Game 6 against the New York Islanders, Hunter lost the puck to Pierre Turgeon. Not only did Turgeon capitalize on the opportunity
that's
by
salt.
scoring,
Bah!
he also celebrated,
Salty.
as hockey players often do. Hunter then proceeded to hunt down Turgeon and
Top
delivered
10
a
initially
hard-hitting
he
check.
got to hate.
As a result, he would miss the first 21 games of the following season.
I've lost a tremendous amount of respect for that organization and that player, and there's
Dang.
no time in the league for a player like that.
Number 19, Floyd Mayweather Jr. punches Victor Ortiz.
Nice. Talk about it.
That's Ortiz's fault.
Super Ortiz.
Keep your hands up at all times.
He was being dirty anyway, Ortiz.
Right.
Let's be real about it.
And then he thought Floyd did some dirty shit, so he was looking towards the ref, like the ref was gonna make a stoppage or what? Something.
No. Ortiz did the dirty shit. What happened was Ortiz was like, trying to, like everybody does,
Right.
tried to swing on Floyd, missing everything, and started headbutting Floyd.
Mhm.
So Floyd was like, what's going on? So the ref backed it up, told Ortiz. So then Ortiz, ref already said it. They already said their piece and everything. All right, so Floyd like, okay. Ortiz still trying to come in for the dap. He's like, nah. And as you guys are going to see what's about to happen.
A few years ago, Floyd Mayweather Jr. destroyed the hopes of casual boxing fans.
Nah.
People was hot, bro. I was working in
Pound for
Brigada at
pound
this
champ
time.
crushed the
I
jaw opponent
laugh.
that maybe,
He
just
deserved
maybe, could have
everything.
netted money his
Yep.
first professional loss.
Ortiz headbutts Mayweather. There's a break in the round.
That's what I'm
They
saying.
Start back up. Ortiz lets his guard down. Mayweather sucker punches him, and that's that. And you wasted $70 on pay-per-view.
Nobody
why I never pay
expected
for
Victor
fights.
Ortiz to outbox the champ on that June evening. But
Sha-
then again,
smack.
nobody expected Floyd to get his boxing shorts in a knot and cheap shot a defenseless Ortiz.
It's the way it could be called anyway, bro. Truthfully.
If you're a diehard Mayweather
But no,
fan,
'cause Floyd-
then
yeah,
you
Floyd went
probably
in
have
for,
a
like,
tough guy
okay.
take on the incident. But any
Okay.
boxing purist will tell you
What?
That's
this,
on Floyd.
that
Floyd
was
went
a
in like,
count.
okay, and then swung on him.
About what he did dirty or what I did dirty. I was victorious. If he want a rematch, he can get a rematch.
Number
Yep.
18, Shaq
I
love this.
Dudley.
I love this. Shaq.
This nigga got a little pump.
Over
He
their
pushed him
8-year
too.
tenure with the Los Angeles
Look,
Lakers,
Yeah,
Shaquille
he
O'Neal
did disrespect
posted
to
some
everybody,
huge
yo.
He's a
numbers.
bully,
During
man.
one
As he should have
particularly
been.
sweaty
Yep.
game against the New York Knicks
You get a lot of big men that
1999,
don't do
he
that for
posted
some
his
reason.
figure all up
Look, look at the
against
push.
Dudley
The
before
fuck off of me.
complimenting the move with a classic shove.
Son, that's what I'm talking about, yo. This had me hype. I remember watching the game. And then Dudley tried to throw the ball like a little bitch.
Picks up the ball and drills Shaq in the butt.
Dudley, being a grown man and all, didn't quite appreciate this questionable display of sports.
Oh, they got this.
So he
I hope they
naturally launched the
don't,
ball at
but I
Shaq,
think they
as
might.
if this
Which one?
could
They
erase
Lakers,
this nasty bit of human
Kobe,
posturing from his memory.
Chris Childs.
He might. He might.
To go with, you go right to the head of the class when you go after Shaq.
Let me know, because I really
17.
don't follow NBA like I used to. Is it any big men who still play like Shaq, who just a bully and do whatever they want to do?
I think the closest thing that I would say to that is probably Joel, like dominance wise, is Joel Embiid.
Okay.
And then you got guys like Dwight Howard.
Dwight seemed like he started his career like that. and
Yeah,
then-
Dwight started his
yeah.
career like that, but the game has changed so much because a lot
Right.
of the so-called bullies, they had to now play out on the perimeter.
Mhm.
So a lot of the big 7 foot, 250 and up guys gotta shoot now. Like
Okay.
Joel Embiid, but Joel is still dominant in the paint.
All right.
And then you got guys like DeAndre Jordan that can dunk when you go crazy. Brandon Knight.
For love. Let's go!
But I love the center game now. It's fading away and everything. Like shout out to Joel Embiid for keeping it up. But as of right now, the center game is losing, man. Everything's about shooting the three.
Sure.
Eden Hazard kicks the ball boy.
But what's happened
Why the
here?
ball boy?
One of the Chelsea players.
Oh, God!
Well, certainly has wrestled the
Love
ball
that.
the ball boy.
If you're familiar with European football, you know that both players and fans alike will basically do anything in the spirit of gamesmanship. So when a Swansea ball boy attempted to bamboozle the Chelsea club during their 2013
Oh, he tried
Capital
to
One
cheat.
Cup
Oh,
semifinal
damn.
game, Eden Hazard wreaked some serious havoc and launched a swift gut bomb to the poor kid's midsection. Sure, we don't exactly condone the ball boy's behavior, but in a time when all sporting events are captured on film, we have to wonder, what exactly was Hazard thinking?
Soccer players kick like UFC.
We'll say this.
Yes.
Eden earned that red card.
That's inexcusable by Eden Hazard. There is no excuse for that at all.
Number
Huh?
16, Barry Hall punches
Oh,
Brent
this is
Staker.
And one of the most controversial and, got to say, ordinary incidents I've seen on a football field for a while.
If you Google the Australian footballer named Barry Hall,
Bruh.
you'll discover that he's been involved in a
Australians,
few
man.
incidents during his AFL career.
They are
People talk about the Irish fighting. Australians are a whole different breed.
In a 2008 match against the West Coast Eagles, the veteran tough guy put a left hook on Brent Staker's chin because, he's competitive, or perhaps a few cards
Damn.
short of a full deck.
I'll tell you what, the look of Brent Staker's
Really, bro?
the impact is not going to do
Man, I'll
Barry Hall a
kick
whole
your
lot
ass.
of
No,
good.
you won't.
All joking aside, the cheap shot took Staker out of the game, and Hall was later
Bruh.
suspended for 7 games while securing a
Yeah, he tried to
permanent
grab his
place on
neck,
the
though.
YouTube wall of shame for
Whew.
unsportsmanlike moments.
They better not have
Number
LeGarrette blood up
15,
here.
Trevor Chappell's Pansy Bowl.
More Australian.
You only have to say the underarm incident, and every dedicated cricket follower knows exactly what you mean.
Cricket?
When it comes to the rules
Wow.
and regulations of cricket, there's nothing that says one can't bowl underarm. But in the spirit of competition, it's simply a no-no.
Cricket?
Let's make sure it isn't underarm, but I've got the feeling.
So imagine the outrage when an already contentious 1981 match between Australia and New Zealand took a troubling turn when
Uh-oh.
Australia's Trevor Chappell effectively mailed
Another
it in to
Australian.
secure a final victory.
We're going to vote an underarm. We haven't believed it.
Damn.
And that's
Stupid son of a
disappointing
bitch.
finish.
The
I'll
New
never
Zealanders
understand the
actually
rules of
needed
cricket.
6
Nope.
runs to tie it up, but in perhaps the most boneheaded decision of Australian cricket, Greg Chappell asked his brother to embrace his inner cowardice, because sports are just that damn important. Briefly a champ, forever a bum.
I think it was a disgraceful performance from a captain who got his sums wrong today, and I think it should never be permitted to happen again.
Number 14,
Albert,
Albert
yeah.
Haynesworth
Stomp the
stomped
shit out of
Andre
him.
Giroud.
Haynesworth has been disqualified and walks off.
Early on in the
Pause it.
2006 NFL season, the Tennessee
You talking about somebody that stole money. Albert Haynesworth stole checks. Now, When he played for Tennessee, he had a great year. This is the year he had a great year, but you saw that bullshit he did.
Yeah.
Had a great year, and free agency, $57 million. I think guaranteed. Ain't do shit for the Redskins.
Hey, if I had that contract, I wouldn't do shit either.
Nah, he stole checks for real. Fuck Albert Haynesworth, and I'm not even a Redskins fan, but I felt so bad for them for that.
But how about them Cowboys?
Titans were hosting America's team, the Dallas Cowboys. However, defensive tackle Albert Haynesworth nearly ended the American dream of Andre Gurode for no apparent reason other than malicious intent.
Oh, his helmet was off?
Haynesworth strolled on over to a pile of opponents and proceeded to kick and stomp Gurode while he was still on the ground.
It was pretty impressive, the physical day that he was having, getting good push in there, knocking people back.
They got him on. They got to have my other boy on here, though.
And, at the end of the day, he frustrated a pretty good player in our league.
But while most mature players can keep their emotions and thoughts in check, Haynesworth just went ahead anyway like it was no big deal, which led to 30 stitches for Gurode.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, he got cleats on.
Yep.
That is unbelievable.
Number 13, the shoe incident. Fights are
My
pretty commonplace in
shoes.
hockey. But even for the rock'em sock'em playing style of the 70s, this brawl involving a Boston Bruins defenseman and a New York Rangers fan was really out of the norm. To catch a spectator who'd assaulted a player, the Bruins team leapt into the stands to confront the culprit.
As you should.
Yeah, throw a shoe out there like that.
However,
But
what was
there may
most
be another
shocking
one
was
over
when
here.
Mike Milbury hit the offender with his own shoe. The incident led to multiple player suspensions and fines.
Well, the Bruins are at a decided disadvantage, Fred, with those skates, and somebody could get seriously hurt.
Number 12, Roberto Alomar and the spitting
remember this one.
incident. He
He
may
was
be one of
96. I
baseball's
always
most
watch this
talented
one.
second basemen, but that doesn't mean he always kept himself in line. During a 1996 game against the Blue Jays, Roberto Alomar objected to John Hirschbeck's
Alright,
call
spit in
by
his face.
spitting
Look how to
in the
spit.
umpire's face.
He looks like he spits in Hirschbeck's face.
Though the Baltimore Orioles player claimed the umpire had
show
made racist comments, Alomar was suspended for 5 games. However, the two eventually
games,
got
that's it.
Fuck you.
Number 11, the Boston Marathon cheater. Although Rosie Ruiz maintained that she ran the Boston Marathon in its entirety, it's generally accepted that the Cuban-American cheated her way to the finish line.
I thought the cops were
Damn.
about to-
Ruiz barely broke a sweat and wasn't familiar with common runner's terms was just the starting point for people's suspicions. For while there wasn't any video surveillance, witness reports that she took the subway and official investigations
What?
ultimately revealed the truth.
She was in track clothes and wearing a number, but I thought someone had just sort of stumbled into the race. Maybe.
Number 10, Kermit Washington
Yeah, Kermit
punches
just
Rudy
knocked him out.
Tomjanovich.
I didn't see it, but I heard it. It sounded like a melon that had been dropped on the floor.
When
Yeah,
you're
Rudy
one of
should
7
never got in
players
there.
to average 20 points and 20 rebounds over your entire college career, it takes something pretty despicable for that to be overshadowed. And there's really nothing to justify
Shouldn't
the
have ran up.
1977 roundhouse
speech, Rudy.
punch that Kermit Washington dropped on Rudy Tomjanovich, who was just simply trying to break up an in-game brawl between the LA Lakers and Houston
Ain't no breaking it
Rockets.
up.
The punch nearly killed Tomjanovich, and considering the graphic descriptions of those who witnessed it firsthand, it's kind of a miracle that he went on to have a successful coaching career, considering he tasted his own spinal fluid on that fateful day.
I wish I could go back, give me a time machine. I think I would just have ducked and never started a fight.
Yeah,
You love that,
yeah, that was
didn't
your fault,
Eric Cantona
Kareem.
Kung Fu kick.
Oh, damn.
Kicking the crowd.
These two sports don't often appear in the same sentence, but a French athlete known as King Eric brought the two together during an outrageous moment in 1995.
The Football Association called it a stain on the game and have charged Cantona with bringing the game into disrepute.
Playing away to Crystal Palace, Eric Cantona overheard a Palace fan's hateful boasting. Did he just shrug it off? Nah, he instead greeted him with a Bruce Lee-style Kung Fu
Damn,
kick,
nah, he super
followed
kicked
by
him.
a series of Floyd Mayweather-like jabs.
A dramatic controversy.
In perhaps the strangest
Right,
press
you know
conference
those,
ever,
those
the player
foreign-
referenced Seagull.
Foreign fans, much more
Passionate.
violent than passionate and violent.
Yeah.
It goes hand in hand.
Passionate violence. Passionate violence with them,
It's
man.
like-
They, like, don't get me wrong, we have our ways, but them, like, that's their life and everything. Like, sports, when you talk about soccer, when you talk about rugby, like, this is their life and everything. This
Right.
is their escape for them.
The epitome of diehard fans. Like
Yeah.
they will die for this shit.
Yes.
And kill for it as well.
Yes, man.
perhaps the strangest press conference ever, the player referenced seagulls. Wow.
When the seagulls
Is he drinking?
follow the trawler, it's because they think
What?
sardines will be thrown into the sea.
Whatever drug he had.
Number 8. Marty McSorley hits Donald Brashear with stick.
I remember this one. Slashed it.
In the world of hockey, a sport in which
Yeah, I
players
thought
are
this was
allowed to
racist.
fight during games, there's nothing that typically surprises
Damn,
fans,
bruh.
or players for that matter.
Why
Unless,
do
of course,
hockey,
it's
bruh?
a blindside cheap shot.
I think Marty in all fairness,
He's out.
he was trying to tap him in the shoulder, but you know you're very responsible for your stick.
In 2000, with less than 5 seconds left in a game against the Vancouver Canucks, the Boston Bruins' Marty McSorley inexplicably whacked Donald Brashear in the face from behind.
Then he hit his
This
head.
led
I think
Brashear
that's what
to
knocked him
not
out.
only take
Yeah.
a nasty backwards fall, but also to suffer from a severe concussion.
They brought the stretcher out for Brashear. He is still
He's
down,
fighting.
not moving.
When there are so many ways to confront your opponent in hockey, this particular display of unsportsmanlike conduct unsurprisingly caught the attention of
Nah,
the
let me
British
shut up with that
Columbia
word
authorities.
because
He really tried to injure me, and I mean, I could have died. I don't think this guy should be playing in the league anymore.
McSorley would end up being sentenced to 18 months probation.
Go.
Never played
Yeah.
in the NHL again.
he was
Have you
out of
accept
there.
the apology from Marty? I'll never understand how he got to the point where he would hit me in the head with a stick.
Number 7, Luis Suarez biting incidents. We could probably make a whole list about this player's numerous misdeeds, but for this video, we're going to go with what striker Luis
Are we gonna get
Suarez is
Tyson?
most commonly known for.
Ah,
Biting
you might get some
opposing
Tyson.
players. Yes, players. The first incident occurred in
Oh, gosh,
2010
bite him like-
when he bit
biting
attacking
everybody.
midfielder Otman Bakal on the shoulder. In 2013, he went for Chelsea's Branislav Ivanovic.
That is quite incredible and pretty disgusting.
Then,
God.
a year later, he bit the back shoulder of Italy's Giorgio Chiellini during a World Cup match. While widely considered a skilled and talented player, his actions with his teeth, along with other controversies, have surely cast a shadow over his career.
It looks to me,
he deserved
dare I
that.
say it, that he's had a little bite at Chiellini.
Fucking vampire.
Number 6, the Black Sox scandal.
I remember this
This
one.
scandal caused so much damage to baseball that officials banned
Pause
players
it.
Made a
involved
movie out
for
of it.
life.
Oh yeah, yep. I was gonna say they got the movie out of this, man. Like, bruh, this is why. But it's not as big as it used to. But you know, like the whole running numbers for sports and
Right,
everything.
right. Yep.
How big that was back then. A lot of, cause like you said, back then, like gangsters and everything, they didn't sell like selling drugs wasn't the big things.
No.
It was running numbers.
They built their empires off of that.
So when they told these sports people, like, yo, this is the line. You want to get paid? Shade some point.
Yep.
Like, it was so big back in the day. It's not as big now because it's easy to spot, but back then it was.
I think it still happens in some capacity. It's still there.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's just not. I'm just saying it just doesn't involve mob ties anymore. Like back then,
Right.
it was directly involved with mob ties, with gangster ties. Like you could lose your life if you didn't shade these points like crazy. And check it out, y'all, if you haven't seen it.
Referring to the conspiracy between 8 White Sox players and pro gamblers to deliberately lose the 1919 World Series games. This fixing of the MLB championship also achieved notoriety for the alleged participation of legendary athletes like Eddie Seacott and Shoeless Joe Jackson. Number 5, Zinedine
Ain't gonna get
Zidane
into it.
headbutts Marco Materazzi.
I remember this one.
It was during France's return to the 2006 World Cup Finals when, seemingly out of nowhere, Zinedine Zidane used his noggin to hit Marco Materazzi's chest.
Shablam, my chest. Oh,
He sold that shit like a
Zidane was sent off
gunshot.
pitch
As you
Italy
should.
won the game in the shootout. It was later revealed that the Italian player had taunted and insulted him.
This shit
Zidane
stopped his
has
heart.
publicly said that he wouldn't have been able to live with himself
Ah,
had he
shablam.
not been sent off. We're not sure that France would say the same thing.
You can't excuse that.
I remember that like in person. Like,
Number 4, Todd Bertuzzi punches Steve Moore.
Steve.
Todd Bertuzzi
Steve.
after Steve Moore. Grabs his shoulder, having a little chat with him, grabs his sweater, gives him a whack.
He knocked him
and
out.
piling
I remember
on,
that.
and
He knocked him out.
and everybody's into it. Now we got a line brawl.
It's one thing to stand up for a teammate, but this was just way out of line. In retaliation for a hit on Captain Marcus Naslund by Colorado Avalanche forward Steve Moore in a previous game, Vancouver Canucks forward Todd Bertuzzi attempted to provoke Moore into fighting him. But when Moore would not respond, Bertuzzi proceeded to grab his jersey and punch him on the side of
your
his
face is just sliding against the ice.
Absolutely land face
That's
first
all
on the
right.
ice.
Why his face not so?
Although Bertuzzi apologized for his actions, the league would suspend him for the remainder of the season, and the incident remains one of the NHL's darkest.
Yeah, gloves
moments.
on.
Number 3, the attack. on
Tonya Harding, you bitch.
Competitive, this went beyond anything we'd come to expect from figure skating. To increase her chances at the Olympics, Tonya Harding conspired to have rival Nancy Kerrigan take
And she's
out
still
of the picture.
like doing
Kerrigan
stuff
was
though.
then unable to participate in the U.S. Figure Skating Championship, clearing the way for Harding's victory.
There is some concern, though, about a measure of pain radiating up her right leg, and that, of course, is the
That's
leg.
dumb because you hear
on
more.
which
You do hear
she
more about
lands her
Tanya than you do
jumps.
Nancy.
They'll both
Crazy.
made the
They just made a
Olympic
movie
team.
about this,
Harding
like
eventually
last year or the
faced
year before.
charges for her involvement. Number 2, the Malice.
Number 2.
So the Indiana Pacers
Number 1 got to be
and the
Tyson,
Detroit Pistons
biting
fight began on
Holyfield.
the court.
Yeah.
It quickly degenerated into the NBA's most infamous brawl when they took
Hey,
it
give
to
me-
the
give me
stand.
pause real quick.
That was crazy. Like watching
Bruh,
it live. Like
that's what I was gonna say. I watched
Oh,
it live at Applebee's. I will never forget it. I'm at Applebee's watching the game live and everything. And I'm like, oh, it's over. Indiana smoked them and everything. And then the whole thing with Ron Artest and Ben Wallace, I'm like, oh shoot, they got into a fight. I'm showing everybody that.
yeah.
So we looking like, oh, all right, yeah, they got into a fight, whatever. And then we saw the Malice. When I tell you the whole Applebee's just glued to their TVs watching this,
Yeah.
it was crazy. I had to be about 15, 16 for this. Never forget. Like NBA fights, never will forget this one.
They lucky that this was a like it was just a regular season game.
Yeah.
Because the seats wasn't even that packed. But had it been like a
playoff game?
Oh God.
Sheesh. Yeah,
Massacre.
Facts. Yeah.
Would have made for better TV though.
It made for great TV. This also made for great TV.
Yeah.
Game was over and everything. You know, that's just y'all won the game. That's what gets me about this. Indiana won the game.
Hey, some things are
Bruh.
bigger than the win.
Bruh.
Your respect.
Yeah. You see Artest talking about this though?
I might have.
He just talked about it on it's a podcast called Knuckleheads. I'm gonna show you after this. Yeah.
After a spectator threw a
grabbed the
drink
wrong
at the
person,
man
too.
formerly known as Ron Artest, pro b-ballers and
Shout out to
fans
Steve
began
Jackson.
throwing
Steve
punches
Jackson's
and
real,
drinks
still
at
a
each
real
other.
one.
The Pacers-Pistons brawl led to
And Jermaine
multiple
O'Neal. They're
player
gonna show the sliding
suspensions
punch?
and criminal charges for several fans.
Such a dangerous situation. That made it very dangerous and made it very scary.
Before we
they
unveil
ain't gonna
our
show the
top
sliding
pick,
punch by
here
Jermaine.
are some dishonorable mentions. Chris Simon steps on the back of Jarkko Ruutu's leg
Mm.
with skate.
Oh, that's a bad kick to the back of Ruutu.
He did that right by the.
Elbows
Ah,
James Harden in the face.
kablam! Ron Artest again.
That's disgraceful.
Man, the beard caught that. It
That's
absorbed
not
it.
only ejection, that's going to be a suspension and should be.
Shablam!
What a disgrace.
Pedro Martinez and Don.
Pedro!
Yeah, he didn't make it to the list.
Absolutely.
I loved it by Pedro. Coach, I come to ah!
Did you ever see what Dave Chappelle talked about that?
Nah.
Because he said Pedro, he just guided that motherfucker, gravitated. And that's exactly what happened. Like he just all momentum, just guide him straight to the ground.
Yo.
Play David.
Knocks down linesman.
Salomaki, and then he is banged up.
I'm gonna get you.
And there's
I'm
a
gonna
collision with
get
John
you.
Henderson. He doesn't even see the
Why?
linesman.
Jack Tatum's preseason game hit on
Damn,
Daryl
78.
Stingley.
Even though no flags were thrown on the
Yeah.
play and no
He
fines
was-
were levied
nah, he
against
was
Tatum,
ill
his
with it.
motives were questioned because of his reputation
on show
and
or just talk
apparent
about it?
lack of remorse.
I think it was like
Before
a
we
straight up
continue,
like
be sure to subscribe
suplex.
to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos.
Yeah, they
Mike
kind
Tyson?
they kind of cut out a lot of the violence.
Yeah.
Occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone,
You
make
saying
sure
Mike
you
Tyson,
go
right?
into
I
your
think so.
settings
I
and
might
Yeah.
see
switch
what Mike
on
Tyson biting
notifications.
Holyfield ear.
Number 1,
Yep.
the bite fight. Mike Tyson
There
was
it is.
already seen as a wild and crazy boxer, but his 1997 rematch against Evander Holyfield topped anything and everything
show
else
it.
he'd done in the ring. During the Sound and the Fury fight, Tyson bit his opponent's ear on 2 separate occasions during the match.
It looked as if Tyson bared his teeth at one stage in the exchange.
Yeah, the nibble first and just took a chomp out of it.
He later stated his actions were in response to Holyfield's unpenalized headbutting. Do you agree with
That's how Holyfield fought.
this other recent
Yeah.
clip from Watch Mojo?
He's all
Be sure to
headbutts.
subscribe
He was
and
all
ring the bell
hitting
to
at
be
that.
notified
Holy,
about our
see that
latest
man hit
videos.
him is huge. So that was the most disrespectful moments in sports history.
Yeah.
I agree with it, man. But as you guys see, man, them soccer, them rugby, them European players.
Man, it's just something wrong with them. Are they testing properly for steroid abuse over there?
Gosh, that was crazy. But he still got our crazies. But
yeah,
man,
I told you, man, I would get into sports more if they had a separate league where everybody was allowed to juice up. Just have it, bro. Just have it. Call it the special. I say the Special Olympics. That's already a thing. But just have them like at your best. Juice up.
Listen, it might be some deaths out there. If that's the case.
Hitting balls out the stadium, pow, pow, and snapping bats in half.
It might be some deaths out there, bro.
Oh.
See heart attacks and
hey,
murder.
Bringing out the player.
But yes, man, what do you guys think, man? If you guys like what you just watch, send us the comments, man.
Yeah, if you can think something more disrespectful was on that list, let us know.
And you know what? And I want to just get back to what I was saying. I don't think it was disrespectful, but I want to say RP to Mamba, but Chris Chow, that 2-piece though.
Yeah.
I thought we was gonna see that, but I understand, like, you know, that's something that
they could have had a top 20 of just NBA stuff.
Yeah.
Truthfully.
Yeah.
But we're gonna get up out of here. Before we do, make sure you guys click all the links in the description. Follow everything P.D.E. from our Facebook gaming page. Check out our daily streams. Also check out our merch over at geeksunleash.com. Get that merch on your body. Also the Patreon. We got 3 tiers over there. Whatever one works for you, works for us. We appreciate anything you can do.
Yes, sir. So with all that being said, man, thank you guys for watching. This is P.D.E. Mr. Swag No Aggie.
I'm just Dan.
We out.
Thank you.